The West Virginia State Police have now arrested 37 illegal immigrants in our state from the first day they were working directly with ICE. 37 illegal immigrants. Recently, the state police and law enforcement in Mercer County executed one of the single largest drug busts in state history, and it seized enough fentanyl to kill more than 12 million people. So think about that for a moment. That's about 7 times the population of West Virginia. This is pretty serious stuff. But we have a group of people that are fighting those drug dealers who are doing everything they can to make sure they're keeping West Virginians safe. We're going to be very clear. You are not welcome here, and we're going to come and be aggressive. And we're going to keep partnering with Trump and Noam and others to make sure that the right things happen in West Virginia. If you bring drugs into our state, you will be held accountable, you will be tried, and if you're convicted, you will do serious time in prison. We're not fooling around here. We're not going to let our kids get killed the way that they were in the past. We have some really big news. At the beginning of my administration, I pledged to work hand in hand with President Donald Trump and his administration to enforce our nation's immigration laws. As many of you know, when I served as Attorney General, I repeatedly focused on the fact that West Virginia was a border state when it came to the immigration problem, because we saw so much illicit fentanyl and drugs flood into our state. This was killing our people. And I knew as Attorney General, and I used to press to do more here, and thankfully now we have President Donald Trump in office. We're working in a partnership, but we didn't do enough to push back at that. We are doing a lot right now, and I think it's incredible. And so I'm glad to be here today because we know that there's been a change in administration. During the Biden administrations, millions of people unlawfully entered the country. We know that there's a lot of really nasty things that are going on from the Mexican drug cartels, and we're seeing the effects of that, not only on drug trafficking, but money laundering, and a lot of property crime, a lot of issues that can stem back to illicit immigration. We're doing something about it, and we have some big news to break today. So when this started to happen, we knew that this was a big assault on the sovereignty of West Virginia and the rule of law. And also was an insult to those who immigrated here the right way. West Virginia was flooded almost unlike any other state with massive amounts of fentanyl and illicit drugs. It poisoned our state, and it really ended up catching a lot of the people that were previously addicted to the legal pain pills. This was a fight that I engaged in for 12 years when we had the civil actions that were very successful, more successful arguably than any state in the nation when it comes to holding the companies accountable. The natural next step after a lot of people on the lawful pills was to go to fentanyl. That's a huge problem. And now, during my administration, we're still busy cleaning up a lot of the mess. Fortunately, we have a good partner with the Trump administration. I come here today with a number of folks in law enforcement to make it really clear, West Virginia, we are always going to be a law and order state. We're committing ourselves to the rule of law, to stopping illegal immigration, and mitigating all the consequences that it has on citizens, especially when it comes to the illicit drug trade. Earlier this year, I signed an executive order directing the West Virginia Department of Homeland Security, the state police, and the West Virginia Division of Corrections to fully cooperate with ICE and other federal law enforcement agencies so they can help implement President Trump's executive order. And I've spoken to the president about this, and I know that the president, Secretary Noam, I've talked to a number of times about this, they're doing the right things, and I applaud their willingness to make this a top priority. One of the main functions of government is to make sure we're protecting the safety of our people. President Trump wants to make America safe again. I want to make sure that West Virginia remains one of the most safe places in the country. We have to keep focusing on it. Early on, I sent a letter to local law enforcement urging them to work closely with ICE and provide support in any way possible. We're going to take any legal action necessary to protect the residents of our state from illegal aliens and the drug trade. So a little less than 2 months ago, I announced that the West Virginia State Police, the National Guard, Division of Corrections, they had entered into a 287G agreement, and I thought that represented an incredible step for the state. Today, I'm here to provide an update on that program, and I'm joined by a lot of people here today, and the major impact that that program has already had on our state. Let's start with some new information. The West Virginia State Police, they've now arrested 37 illegal immigrants in our state from the first day they were working directly with ICE. 37 illegal immigrants. And that just started September 21st, 2025. Now think about that for a moment. 37 arrests in 11 days. That's an unbelievable and astonishing number given the size of our state. 27 of these individuals were apprehended by the state police, their Parkways team, during traffic stops, legal traffic stops on the West Virginia Turnpike. The remaining 10 were apprehended at DUI checkpoints operated by the state police. I'm fortunate to be joined today by our outstanding Superintendent of State Police, Colonel Jim Mitchell, and other members of the state police who've been instrumental in these efforts. I want to thank everyone from the state police, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for standing strong for the safety of our citizens. Now, we also have another big announcement today, and this is important. Thanks to the incredible work of our state police and law enforcement in Mercer County, I'm going to turn around for folks to see. Recently, the state police and law enforcement in Mercer County executed one of the single largest drug busts in state history, and it seized enough fentanyl to kill more than 12 million people. So think about that for a moment. That's about 7 times the population of West Virginia. This is pretty serious stuff. But we have a group of people that are fighting those drug dealers who are doing everything they can to make sure they're keeping West Virginia safe. 54 pounds of suspected fentanyl. That could kill a lot of people. You guys know that this has been a problem for first responders. Sometimes they touch the illicit fentanyl. It can kill you just sometimes with a touch. It's very dangerous. Imagine what happens when it gets laced into some of the vaping and to some of the other products. That was a cause of a lot of deaths in West Virginia. So we're taking on fentanyl, and this drug bust, it's a big deal. It has a value on the street of over $825,000. But that's not all. The officers, a number of who are with us today, they seized and removed from the streets of West Virginia 70 pounds of suspected crystal meth, 23 pounds of suspected illicit marijuana, 15 firearms, and 3 brick presses. You see some of that today. These drugs were taken off the streets after month-long investigation as part of multiple search warrants, which were executed on September 10th, 2025. I want to emphasize that the Mercer County Sheriff's Office and Prosecutor's Office, the Southern Regional Drug and Violent Crime Drug Task Force, they all did good work. And once again, it's not just about the state and the governor. We have a huge team of people collaborating together to protect the citizens of our state. The suspects in this case are charged with delivery of methamphetamine, delivery of fentanyl, and conspiracy to deliver fentanyl. This one gentleman's currently on federal probation for drug charges. As you can see, these bricks of fentanyl have inscriptions that can act as a signature for certain types of gangs and dealers. And the Mexican drug cartels are a real problem. They're a problem nationally, and we're worried about the impact that they have in West Virginia. We know that some of these inscriptions have been seen in other cases across the country, which means that this could be part of a broader drug operation and efforts by the bad guys. But thanks to the officers in this room, West Virginia, we're going to keep the drugs off our streets. We're going to protect people as much as we humanly can. This is a higher priority for this administration than the state's ever seen. We must keep our people safe. We need to prevent drugs from being accidentally ingested by kids. And we know that we have to protect our officers from coming into contact with fentanyl. But I also am here today to send a clear message. If we haven't gotten to you yet, if you're a drug dealer and you're operating or trying to operate in West Virginia, we are coming for you. And we're not going to stop. There's a level of aggressiveness to protect our citizens that you haven't seen before. We're going to do it in a lawful manner. We're going to protect your civil rights, operate under the Constitution. But we're going to be very clear. You are not welcome here. And we're going to come and be aggressive. And we're going to keep partnering with Trump and Noam and others to make sure that the right things happen in West Virginia. If you bring drugs into our state, you will be held accountable. You will be tried. And if you're convicted, you will do serious time in prison. We're not fooling around here. We're not going to let our kids get killed the way that they were in the past.